Willow, Evan, Duncan.
I think there's more.
And I think Emma's still there, is she?
Yep, Emma's there.
I don't know why it's not.
Yeah, there you
No, that didn't work.
go. Yash. Okay.
Okay, this isn't working
I got
out.
the chat open, that's why.
Oh, okay. There we go.
There you go.
A little better, maybe. Okay, so I'm Dr. Berry. I'm the head of biochemistry. We're just trying to play around with settings so that it actually works better for us. And I'm with Dr. Harding, who's one of our nutrition faculty. We have Donna Hunt, who's our academic advisor. So if you've got any questions whatsoever about registration, prerequisites, degree requirements related to either biochemistry or nutrition, Donna's who you go to. Donna is phenomenal. Donna will take absolutely glorious care of you and get you sorted away. So her contact details are on the webpage. It's basically BC Advice, as in British Columbia Advice, but biochemistry. For me, if you're contacting me about a course that I'm teaching, use my regular person email, which is the mberry@mon. If you're contacting me about departmental affairs, then use my head's account, which is the, whatever it is, biochhead@mon. We don't really have anything prepared for you. This is more about you guys finding out information. About all I'm going to say. So let's do it this way. Is there still just 3 of you?
No, I think there's more.
Okay, there's more of you. I'm going to put the chat on. So, okay, so how many of you have got any idea whatsoever about what biochemistry is? Or what nutrition is as a degree?
I will say I don't know anything about it because I'm a biology student.
Okay, so we're assuming most people are that. One of the tricky things is you don't do biochemistry or nutrition in your first year because you need other information before you can do the biochemistry or the nutrition. So we generally don't get a grubby little claws into you until second year. But biochemistry, at least at this university, is basically the molecular basis of health and disease. So if you're interested at all about health or disease and what causes health, what causes good health, what causes bad health, then biochemistry is your degree. If you're specifically interested in how food relates to that, then nutrition is your degree. So nutrition is not dietetics. If you're interested in dietetics, there is a 2+2 program with Acadia. And if anyone's interested in that, contact either myself or Donna, and we will put you in touch with Barry Walters, who is one of our lab instructors, but he's also the MUN coordinator for that dietetics program with Acadia. Basically, you do 2 years here and then 2 years at Acadia. So our nutrition program is basically the molecular basis of food and its effects on your body. So to kind of address the fact that no one knows what biochemistry is or nutrition is when they come to university, other than what you hear from people in chemistry and biology telling you it's scary and it's difficult and it's hard and We're awful people. We're scary people. We fail everybody. The biochemistry courses are just those nasty courses that you have to take in order to get your degree.
That's all untrue.
Yes. Only Dr. Harding is nasty. But what we have developed now is we do have a first year course. It's not really a biochemistry course. It's not really a nutrition course. It is offered in winter. It's food, drugs, and your body. But that will give you a really good overview of what you can expect in a biochemistry degree in an accessible manner. So there's no prereqs for it. If you've done any form of high school science, you'll be able to handle the course. We offered it for the first time last year in a completely remote environment. We didn't get approval for it until mid-December, and we had over 50 people in the course in January. So we're expecting it to be pretty popular this winter. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in, basically it's a suck and see course. If you think you might be interested in biochemistry, or you think you might be interested in nutrition, it's a course that you can take in your first year to get an idea of whether you really are interested, whether the sorts of things we do are what are going to interest you in your life. So biochemistry is not pre-med, which is the other misconception. It's basically anything to do with the molecular basis of how your body works. Anything for neutros?
Yeah. So just to compliment some of the stuff Dr. Berry said,
I like compliments.
we have, it's not like two separate departments, but it is two separate degrees, just because some of the courses will differ if you take the nutrition versus the biochemistry stream. Just like if you're taking, say, if you decide you want to do the molecular biology stream in biology, that's pretty close to biochemistry as well. Like there's a lot of similarities between the programs, because we are like basically a life sciences department, just like biology is, and that sort of thing. So you keep that in mind when you're looking at picking your major or declaring your major within the next year or so. But when you look in our department, we've got people with expertise that go across the board. Everything from people like me who do feeding studies in humans and animals and look specifically at how diet and nutrition impact chronic disease development. Dr. Berry does neurotransmitters and transmitters that you can tell that better. I'll leave it for him to tell you in a minute. But just to give you an idea of the spectrum of people we have in our department, and we all try to teach to our interests. So that's why you get the nutrition curriculum focusing on nutrition, how it affects disease, how you age properly and healthfully, these sorts of things. While at the same time, if you take some of the other courses our other faculty offer, there might be focuses on cancer development or cancer prevention, neurological disorders, and these sorts of things. And these are all used as examples for you to learn the biochemistry curriculum, because that's what's happening in all of these processes and all of these systems. It's biochemical pathways and systems at play to keep your body alive. And so that's the way we kind of approach our curriculum. It's not entirely separate, because there's a lot of crossover between both the nutrition and the biochemistry courses. So if you declare in biochemistry as a major, or if you just have to do a lot of biochemistry courses because they're required for your other major, you should really consider in that case doing a minor in biochemistry, because it's very easy to collect those courses along the way, especially if they're prerequisites to do a number of your own courses in your home department. The courses, like Dr. Berry's already said, are very applicable to human health, and that's basically because the department is made up of people who are researching human health with some aspect of biochemistry or nutrition. So with that being said, does anybody have any questions right now that they want to ask?
There's been some frequently asked questions in previous sessions. I think they're really good to mention here.
Okay.
So one of those questions that was asked for chemistry, biology, and biochemistry is, where can we find your department in the fall? Will you guys be in the core science facility?
Yes, we will be.
Maybe.
We're already in there.
Oh.
But we're not actually functioning right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, and in all honesty, we don't have We don't have an answer for that.
Yeah. Those questions are probably better directed to the Dean of Science's office, because they would be the ones with the best information right now as to what's going to be operational over there and what's not. It is going to be exciting, though, for you guys to get in there, because the labs are fantastic. So the biochemistry, the chemistry, and the biology labs over there are getting set up now as we speak. And it's going to be great for anybody who's got to do a lab course. But other than that, right now, it's not really accessible to come meet your profs, because we're not even in our offices, because we don't even have any internet over there yet. So there's a lot of bugs that they're working out of the system.
Yeah, so the teaching labs absolutely will be over there and operational as of Wednesday. The research labs will not. The research labs are over there, but they're not operational.
That's very exciting.
That is beyond our control right now. The officers are partly over there and partly over here. So we will be starting, with respect to seeing us in person, meeting us in person, we will be over here. Our officers will be over here. Oh, well, you don't
over
know.
Here being the science building.
Yes, you don't know where I'm at, do you? In the old science building, at least for the start of the semester. Depending when things like chairs and desks arrive for the new officers, will dictate when or if we relocate our officers over to the new building this semester or not. In reality, that's probably going to happen mid-semester, but it won't be in all likelihood, won't be a case of everybody moves at the same time. So but people who have got a little more time on their hands will move. So you will have a situation where some of your profs are in the new building and some are still in the old building.
But we're all accessible by email, right? So it's not it shouldn't be a problem.
Perfect. Another question that's been frequently asked. So how do students go about applying to the biochemistry major? Is it a competitive program? And what are some of the prereq courses that are required for admission?
It's not competitive.
In short, no, it's not competitive.
The honors program
is not competitive.
Not competitive either.
None of it is competitive.
Which it can be in some of the departments, but for us right now, we haven't had to put a cap on honors students.
And we have no intention of doing such.
No.
We will take everybody.
We're trying to work right now actually with a way to design the honors program so that everybody gets a supervisor and a project if they want to do an honors project.
So this year, our number of honors students has doubled over historical averages. We have found a space for them all. Yeah. Everyone in the biochemistry philosophy is everyone will be accommodated.
Yeah.
If we have 3,000 majors, we will find a way to accommodate 3,000 majors.
And probably get a medal from the president for high enrollment. So.
How do you register as a biochem major? You email Donna at BC Advice, and she will take care of you. What courses do you need? What prereqs do you need? That's what Donna will answer. So if you email me about that, all I'm going to do is forward your email to Donna and ask her to answer it. So just go straight to Donna.
But at this stage, it's pretty simple because it's basically first year Bachelor of Science is the curriculum you should be following to do any science degree. And your declaration can come after that if you want to declare your major, right?
Donna,
am I correct in saying that?
Yep. Specifically, you'd need 2 chemistry courses, 1050, 1051, 6 critical reading and writing credit hours. So that would be 3 credit hours from English and 3 credit hours from any critical reading and writing course. You'd need 2 math courses and either 2 physics or 2 biology for admission. But for the degree, you'd need both the 2 biology and 2 physics. And if you wanted to declare your major, you can find an online application form on our webpage, or you can actually get a paper form, or actually you can get a fillable online form from the registrar's office to do the same thing. And if you do that, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Donna.
No, I was just going to say that if you use the online form on our webpage, it'll come directly to me. And if you use the fillable form from the registrar's office, you would need to email it to bcadvice@mon.ca.
Yeah, the
Yep.
form does say that you need the head signature. The head does not sign it in biochemistry. Donna signs it. There is a question, Donna.
Duncan Worthman has a question about the website and whether or not it states the first year course is needed. Do we have that on our website?
Yes, we do have it on our website. I think it's admission requirements. So if you go to the biochemistry departmental website, there's an undergraduate tab, and on the left-hand side, I think you find admission requirements, it's called, but it is there.
We also do have Brooke King here. She is a student in biochemistry. So, Brooke, I don't know if you want to speak on the courses you did as a first-year student and, how you led up to joining biochemistry.
Yeah, sure. So right now I'm minoring in biochem, so I'm doing my first biochem course actually this fall. So I'm super excited for that. When I started MUN, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I just kind of spent a year and a half just doing like the first year science courses. So I did physics 1020, 1021. I did both my chems, both my bios. I did English 1090, and then for my other CRW, which is the other critical reading and writing credit you're going to need, I did a philosophy course, I believe. And after that, really, before I kind of applied to biochem, I just kind of stuck with science courses and see what I like the most. But yeah, there's a lot of people you can email. There's a lot of people with really great advice. So it definitely is really easy to contact people if you have any questions.
Did you do foods, drugs in your body, Brooke?
No, I didn't. Is that a new one?
Yeah, it's the new one we just started. Dr. Berry mentioned
Yeah, so
it.
I didn't do that one. My sister actually, she is going to MUN this year, I think. Was that one that was offered maybe in the summer as well?
We were going to actually.
Right.
That's why I recognize your name. I'm thinking King, which she was
Mhm.
probably registered for, but we had to drop it. Yeah, because they didn't have that kickstart this summer.
Yeah, exactly. So that's because she had no idea what she wanted to do, and I told her, I said, hey, do this course, but not really sure what happened after. But yeah, I hadn't done that course, so I'm doing Biochem 2201 this fall.
Okay, good. So you'll get no, there's no lab in that, right? Is there a lab?
There's no lab. We have no. That's the other thing, which is rather unique about biochemistry, is we do not have traditional lecture lab courses. So we decoupled our lab courses into dedicated courses. So whereas with many departments, you'll do a course and you've got to do all the coursework, you've got to do all the exams and quizzes for the coursework, and then you've got to do another 3 hours of lab and write up lab reports to get your 3 credit hours. We decoupled everything. So all our lectures are just lecture courses, and the labs are a separate course. You do the lab, you do the lab report, you get your 3 credit hours. So that's one of the unique things about biochemistry, and that also allows us to structure those labs rather than being lots of little 2-hour unrelated experiments that just seem like a random assortment of experiments that may or may not link into the lecture that you just did that week. It allows us to actually run those lab courses like a project. So what you do in week 1, you use that material that you've generated in week 1 for week 2, and then that leads into week 3, and so all of them are connected to each other. And then at the end, you basically, in 2901, which is the second year lab course, what you do is you put a poster together that summarizes all the work that you've done throughout the semester. So it's much more real world. You're working on a project, you're getting some writing skills, some scientific presentation skills, some oral presentation skills, all of these transferable skills. It allows us to build that into the courses much better.
Apologies. I just have a quick question about the labs. Is that something that is new to biochemistry, cutting the lab portions from the the regular classes? Because I did Bio 2201 last winter, and there was no lab portion to the course.
Yep.
Yeah, so we started it, actually, the first ones came on just before the pandemic.
3 years, Donna?
So 3
20
years ago.
2019 we started, yeah.
So anybody who was registered then may or may, if they didn't decide to do the lab course right away, they would have missed the lab because of all the COVID shutdowns. So, and we haven't had them yet, have we? Until we've ran them. Those courses ran once.
2901 has run twice.
Yeah.
3906 has run once, and 3907 has run once.
Right. And so they'll all be running this year. And they probably will be full because they didn't run last year.
Yeah, and we're actually running a double cohort of 2901.
Yeah.
So we're running it fall and winter semester so that everybody who should have taken it last year that couldn't can take it this year, as well as everybody who should be taking it this year. So we've adjusted everything to get everybody through.
So for you, Isla, that would be the course you would have taken, that you traditionally would have been joined the 2201, is 2901, right?
Yeah. Another frequently asked question that we've been getting, I'm not sure if this is more directed towards Donna, but it's joint majors, so how you can do a joint major in biochemistry, as well as when would someone who is interested in doing a biochem honors, when would they apply for that?
Donna?
Okay. Yep. So we don't have joint majors actually with biochemistry, but we do have joint honors programs. So they're dedicated honors programs. And we have biochemistry and cell biology, biochemistry and chemistry, biochemistry and physics, biochemistry and behavioral neuroscience. And we only have the one with nutrition, and that is with behavioral neuroscience as well. And declaring an honors in biochem, you can do it early if you meet certain grade requirements in your second year courses. So you can do it after second year, and many students do it, most students do it in third year. And to do that, also there's a fillable form with the registrar's office that you would send to us. You can fill it out and send it to us.
Again, that says the head has to sign that. This head never signs. Donna does all that. Because Donna's the one who's actually in charge of stuff like that.
Perfect. Now I'm not sure if Brooke's able to touch on this, but I know like both of us could definitely do that. One really important thing that I want to say to all the students here is about kind of joining societies. Biochemistry does have a student society where they do host events for all students, whether you're a first year or a fifth year student. Everyone is welcome. Brooke, I'm not sure if you're in Biochem Society or not, and if you are, you can go ahead and speak on that.
Yeah, so I actually joined the biochem department, I guess, when COVID hit, so I wasn't able to go to like any in-person events or anything like that. But over the past, I guess, year and a half now, we had like different gatherings on kind of like WebEx, and there was another thing we used. Can't remember quite what it was. I think maybe Gather Town or something. So there was like some profs, all the students from the society kind of got together. We had a formal night, so that was really fun. We also, I think it was part of our formal night, we got to order like a drink and a pizza, so we got that delivered to our house. A couple times we had little discussions, just kind of got to meet everyone. So it was really nice, and I'm really looking forward to, I guess, meeting everyone in person now. So it was really welcoming, even online.
Yeah, so last year, so the Biochem Society is last year was really quite active. So they were the ones who organised the Christmas movie show in the quad last year. So that's the scary parking lot in the middle of the science building.
Old science building.
Yeah, old science building. So they basically did a Christmas drive-in movie there. They organised a couple of quiz nights. So the first one was mainly just the Biochem Society, and that went so well that they organised the second one and brought in at least 3 or 4 other societies into it. I think on that second one there was 100 or 150 people taking part. So yeah, they normally organise mixers. They have you know, the usual drunken debauchery, bus crawls. They normally have an honours information night, which is, in the past they've kind of had it set up like speed dating, so you get to speed date all the profs, which probably should be edited out of the YouTube posting. But yeah, they're pretty active. Anyone who's considering biochemistry, I would highly recommend get a hold of the society and talk to them and ask them about the profs. They will give you accurate information, and they'll give you true information. They'll tell you whether someone's an ass or not. They'll tell you whether someone's a nice prof. They'll tell you whether someone's reputation is justified or not. It's and you should do that. It's due diligence. You need to be happy where you're at, or as happy as you can be. So as Dr. Harding said, there's a lot of overlap. You know, so there's overlap between biochemistry and chemistry. There's overlap between biochemistry and biology. There's overlap between biochemistry and psychology. There's even overlap between biochemistry and physics. You know, with respect to biochemistry and biology, if you're more into the eco-evo aspects of things, that's going to be biology. If you're less interested in the eco-evo aspects, then biochemistry. With chemistry, if you're more interested in actually making the molecules that you're going to try and treat disease with, or try and induce a disease with as a model, that's going to be chemistry. If you're more interested in testing the molecules and really don't care how they're synthesized, that's going to be biochemistry. You know, so these are the sorts of things. There's a lot of overlap, and there's no right or wrong. It's just what works for you. You have a look at the requirements, talk to the department advisor, and see which courses you'd have to take. And no matter what you do, you're going to have to take courses that you're not the slightest bit interested in. It's adult life. It's just going to happen.
Part of the degree, yeah.
But choose the ones where there's the most courses of interest and the most flexibility. That, you know, that's going to get you what you want.
I don't know if it came up in any of the other sessions with the other departments, but if people are wondering about honors, about when to start looking and that sort of thing too, a good way to get an idea of what a research lab is like is to apply early in your first year for Museups positions. It won't be probably the most glamorous work with some profs, but at least you'll get to see how a research lab works, and you'll get to meet the other students in there. So most of the department who are research active in biochemistry take on Museups students, and those Museups students are either just try it out once and they move on to a new lab, which is fine. Like there's never like a hard feelings type of thing, because it's just a learning experience. And then others find a lab right away that they like, and they stick with it for the entire 4 years and then do their honors in that lab. And it's a really good way to, when you get to the point of doing your honors, you really understand how to do the research in that lab, and you get so much more out of the experience. So I'd really highly recommend that anybody in first year take a close look at the Museups positions that are going to be posted at the Career Center's website. I think it's through Student Services or Munsue or something. I'm not entirely. Career Services, Donna, do you know? Help me out there. Do you know who it is? I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yeah, those jobs. I think there is a Museups webpage for sure.
Yeah.
So if you search Museups, you would find the webpage, and the instructions would be there. And I think the jobs are posted the first Friday of the semester. So this year it would be the 10th.
The 10th, right? Yeah.
And they would remain posted for 1 week, and you could apply for them during that week. And that is a great idea. Yeah.
And if you're an international student watching this later, you can apply for what's called the ISWEP, which is the same thing. It's just one that's dedicated specifically to international students. So there's two separate programs, but they're basically both Museups. We kind of just use the term Museup when you hear a prof talking about it. So if you hear that in any of your classes, a prof positions available, that's what they're talking about. And then the only other thing I would say on that is that it can be a rewarding experience for you to get more out of your actual lecture classes as well. If you get exposure to how the research part fits into a university, because I've had a student in my lab since she came in her first year, her second semester, first year, and she wasn't undeclared. She declared in a different department, but she stayed working in my lab since. And since then, like, she's already co-published manuscripts, like, for publication in peer-reviewed journals that are going out this fall. She's done, you know, an exceptional job through her whole degree of kind of positioning herself for what she wants to do in her next steps. And part of that was not me as her mentor, but the fact that she got involved in another side of the university that a lot of people don't, and that's the research side. The earlier you get in, the more positive your experience at the university is probably going to be.
Yeah, so I've got a student who, well, she's just started med school this week, but next week she's presenting her research at an international conference, and her poster has been shortlisted for an undergraduate prize already.
So,
And she's also co-wrote a book chapter. But again, because she did a couple of Museups in the lab, and then stayed in the lab to do the honors, it allows you to build up this volume of work. The other thing about honors, which we should have said, which we neglected, I believe we're the only department in science right now who has modified their honors to, or has started modifying their honors to take account of the different career trajectories that students are interested in. So traditionally, honors have kind of been run as a training ground for grad school. But the vast majority of students aren't looking at going to grad school. So we've actually got various forms of honors project that are available for people. So there's your traditional wet lab research, there's what's known as a systematic review, which is more of a literature search and review, but it still has analytical components. There's computational options. There was a review plus grant proposal option, although we need to play with that one a little bit more. We didn't quite have that set right the first time we tried it. And we're looking at expanding them a little bit more. So we're looking at bringing in group options. So,
and possibly honors that focus more on teaching science.
Yeah.
So an honors project where your project is, how do I teach this biochemistry to, say, primary or elementary school children? That's another option that we were looking at down the road.
We've actually got 13 identified that over the next couple of years we're looking at bringing in. So by the time you guys are looking at doing an honors, there's going to be in biochemistry. There's going to biochemistry/nutrition. There's going to be 6 or 7 different type of honors projects and you can choose which one best suits your personal interests and career goals.
Yeah.
Now, I suspect other departments will copy us eventually when they see how well these work, but as far as I know, we're the only ones who are doing it right now.
So yeah, definitely consider, honors, and consider doing research as first-year students. It's probably like the best thing you can do is start research early, like our speakers have been saying. Start, just by a Museup or volunteering. The Student Society page is always for biochemistry. There's always volunteer opportunities being posted in there that you can check out. So that's super easy. I know if you type in like MUN Museup, it'll probably come up, but you can also go to my.mun.ca and go to the student page, and that's another way to get to the Museup listing. So the Museups are posted.
Donna put the link there too, Isla.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So the Museups are being posted on September 10th at 5 p.m. and then they close September 17th at noon. So as long as you get your applications in before then you can be considered for a Museup. So yeah, I don't really know if anyone else has. So I just put like how you should get there from the my.mun.ca. But I don't know if anyone else has, anything else they want to input, or if students have any other questions, you can feel free to type it in the chat, or if you'd like, you could definitely turn on your mic and ask them. Or Brooke, if you have anything else you'd like to say about student societies. Other than that, I think there's lots of good advice about biochemistry that even myself as a third year student was brand new information for me, and I definitely learned a lot as well. So yeah, thank you everyone for taking time out of your busy schedules, especially with the fall semester coming up, just for coming on here today. So thank you everyone.
Thanks everyone.
Yeah, so are there any questions?
Let's see.
From our live participants.
Doesn't look like it. I know sometimes it takes a moment to type, but.
So just while people are thinking, just to kind of close out and give you an idea of, because we've mentioned research a lot of people have mentioned research. So in the department, we have, as Dr. Harding said, neuro type stuff, so psychiatry, mental health, that sort of research. We've got cardiovascular, so cholesterol regulation, heart disease. We've got immunology. We've got cancer, especially breast cancer. We've got maternal nutrition, fetal nutrition,
microbiome,
microbiome,
and nutrition focuses.
We've got
protein,
crystallography, and rational drug design. So looking at the precise atomic interactions between a drug molecule and a protein, so that you can design a better drug to fit into that protein. So we've got that going on.
Physical biochemistry, where you actually look at the structure of membranes and how you can play with membranes of your cells to get them to kind of react with either toxins or drugs or the proteins that are in them differently.
Yeah, and how they interact with each other, how things get across cells, so transporters.
That rounds it all up.
I think that's pretty much what we've got, and we're about to interview for another nutrition faculty member. So that will be happening in October, and students are welcome to come to those interviews. So that will be another new area. We, towards the end of the semester, possibly early winter semester, we'll be interviewing people for a computational biochemistry position. We have plans to advertise for someone who specializes in teaching pedagogy with respect to biochemical and nutrition education.
So there's lots of cool stuff happening in our department.
And we've got food, and we've got the food science at the graduate level.
Yeah, and food science for graduate.
Although there are some options there. What's the first? Leah Paranavitana did do an honours thesis in food science. So there, although the food science is mainly steered towards the graduate education, there are options there for undergrads as well if they're interested.
Yeah. All right.
Perfect.
So if anybody wants anything from us, feel free to reach out. If you're new, be sure to go to the bookstore and get your Mun swag. Dr. Barry suggested that they have a pop-up place in the Avalon Mall. I don't know if it ever did happen or not, but that was a great idea. But if you can't, if there isn't, get to the bookstore and get yourself some swag.
They're looking into it, and there is some exciting other things that are about to happen, which I am not allowed to reveal the details of right now. But it was also my idea.
Well, I'm very excited to see what's happening. Yeah, definitely go to the bookstore before it gets crazy on the first day.
Yeah.
Start going now because the lineups are going to be crazy. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording the session. Thank you everyone for joining today, and I hope you all learned a lot.
So.
Thank